The deadliest school shooting since Sandy Hook erupted Wednesday as authorities say a 19-year-old man with a troubled past and an AR-15 rifle stalked the halls of Parkland's Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Expelled from the school over disciplinary problems, Nicholas Cruz is accused of squeezing off shot after shot as students took cover under desks, fire alarms blared and teachers barricaded classrooms. By the time it was over, 17 people were dead or dying, and 16 were wounded. Cruz was arrested off campus and was taken to Broward Sheriff's Office headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. Although some students described Cruz as a normal teenager, others and some of his neighbors called him strange, troubled and depressed. A firearms enthusiast whose adoptive mother died last November, Cruz talked about shooting lizards, squirrels and frogs, said Trevor Hart, who knew him from Spanish class and said he seemed a little off. Police were called to his house numerous times, said a former neighbor, Shelby Speno, and he was seen shooting at a neighbor's chickens. He wore a hoodie and always had his head down, said Janine Cartigana, a former neighbor. He looked depressed, panicked, parents said to this affluent section of northwest Broward County on Wednesday afternoon. As news helicopters broadcast the incident, police officers crouched behind cars with guns drawn and students congregated on streets, many crying, hugging and calling friends and family. In a blurry Snapchat video from inside the school, a man yelled, "Oh, my God," as the pop-pop of gunshots rang out and students screamed. Broward Sheriff Scott Israel said 17 people were killed, including both students and adults, with 2 shot outside the school, 1 in the street, 12 inside the school and 2 dying from their wounds at the hospital. 5 of the victims remain unidentified, he said. This was the worst school shooting since 26 children and adults were shot to death at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut in 2012. Investigators have begun analyzing Cruz's social media accounts, which the sheriff said contained material that was very, very disturbing. Cruz was taken into custody off campus without incident, he said. Wearing a red shirt, black pants and black boots, Cruz was placed on a gurney. At 4:47 p.m., he was wheeled into Broward Health North Hospital in Deerfield Beach. Later he was taken from the hospital to Broward Sheriff's Office headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. People are still undergoing surgery, Israel said. We just pray for this city, pray for this school, the parents, the folks that lost their s. It's a horrific, horrific day. Among those shot was the school's athletic director, Chris Hickson, according to the school's assistant athletic director Marilyn Rule. No information was immediately available on his condition. 16 people were being treated at area hospitals. 7 victims were being treated at Broward Health Medical Center in Fort Lauderdale Drive. Benny Menendez told a crowd of reporters. 2 were in critical condition and 5 were stable. 9 were taken to Broward Health North Medical Center, where 3 were in critical condition. We do drills and when this happens we're ready, Menendez said. We practice for this. The school, located in an well-off, low-crime neighborhood near the Everglades, will be closed for the rest of the week. FBI agents were on the scene interviewing students asking for anyone who saw the shooter. You're okay, one student said as she cried and hugged her friend who had just come out. You're safe now, don't worry. Samuel Dykes, a freshman, was on the 3rd floor of the school when he said he heard gunshots and saw several bodies in a classroom. SWAT told the class to keep their eyes forward as they exited the school, he said. At around dismissal time at 2:40 p.m., staff and students heard what sounded like gunfire and enacted a code red lockdown, according to the Broward School District. It's a horrific situation, Broward County Superintendent Robert Runcie said. It's just a horrible day for us. Students were down Pine Island Road at 330, some of them crying, some talking on cell phones. Megan Walton's mascara was running as she walked down Pine Island Road with her mother, Deval Walton. She was waiting in the car line to pick her 15-year-old freshman daughter up when she got the ominous text from her code red. Kids were running out full of blood, Deval Walton said. Kids were falling in the grass. Hannah Siren, 14, was in math class on the 3rd floor. The people next door to us must have not locked their door, she said, breaking into tears. They all got shocked. How many? 10 or 7. Andy Pedroza, 18, of Parkland, was returning to class when he heard shots. My instincts kicked in, he said. He ran to the bathroom and hid in a stall. The toilet was slippery and I thought I would make too much noise, he said, so he didn't crouch on the toilet. He waited what he thought was at least 20 minutes until the shooting stopped. Then he heard the sirens in the police chatter on the radios. He walked out of the bathroom, and police directed him outside, patted him down and said, "Just run." President Trump tweeted, "My prayers and condolences to the families of the victims of the terrible Florida shooting. No child, teacher or anyone else should ever feel unsafe in an American school." Deputy White House Press Secretary Lindsay Walters said, "We are monitoring the situation," she said. "Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected." Gov. Rick Scott announced plans to come to Broward County immediately. He spoke on the phone with Broward Sheriff Scott Israel, Broward Schools Superintendent Robert Runcie, and Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Rick Swearingen, according to the governor's office. He ordered flags on all state buildings to be set at half-staff in remembrance of the victims of the senseless violence committed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. All Broward School District athletic events were canceled for that night. Jay Golden, of Parkland, has a daughter Rachel who was at the school when the first sign of problem came. Rachel, a senior, texted him that there was a code red, a shooting, and she didn't know if it was real or a drill. At 3 p.m., she still hadn't been evacuated from the 900 building, but told her father she was safe with 40 other students and a teacher. "She was crying, she's scared," he said. "She's been texting back and forth. She's okay at the moment. I'm freaking out," her father said. "This is crazy. This stuff shouldn't be going on in these schools. People are crazy. I don't know what goes on through these people's minds these days. It's a scary thing. It's one of those things you don't want to put a metal detector and treat them like prisoners, but they have to figure something out. You put your kids in school and it's supposed to be a safe place, and this stuff happens all the time." The FBI is asking anyone with information to call 1-800-CALL. Susanna Bryan, Gary Carreri, Ann Gegas, Skylar Swisher and Scott Travis contributed to this report. LJ Trishita at SunSentinel.com, 9,543,564,233 at Twitter at Linda Trishithalzov.sunsentinel.com. Safety.